Just, it's, we're watching as these lies fall apart. You know, we watch as these officials and these people who gave the orders and in charge, as their stories fall apart, and they scramble and they try to get ahead of everything. I mean, the Maui police department, the chief of the Maui police department just got caught in another lie, saying that they did not redirect people to Front Street, and there's video surveillance showing that they did, and the news used it. Look, the people who gave the orders that day, the officials of Hawaii, of Maui County, they are responsible for all these lives lost. They let this town burn and did not call for help. They did not order an evacuation. They did not send help. They are responsible for each of these lives lost, and they need to be held accountable. The people of Maui are still in danger because these same people are still in positions of power. They think they're going to get away with it. And the people of Maui are so busy surviving. They have their heads down. They've closed ranks. They're focusing on forgiveness and healing and moving forward. They don't want to stir pots. They don't want to ask questions. So the rest of the world, family members, friends, anybody who has any kind of connection with the people on Maui.
Well, I am sure this won't come as a surprise to anyone, but the police chief has changed his story yet again. This has to be the third or fourth time that he has changed his story. You see, we all know that they put up roadblocks and they blocked people from escaping. We know that for a fact. It's on video. It's on surveillance cameras. Everyone who lives in the area is saying, yeah, we got blocked from evacuating. So we know for a fact that it happened, but the police chief was denying it. He already got caught in a couple of lies, but he tried to deny that these roadblocks ever happened. Luckily, he got caught up in all of his bogus BS. And now, after claiming that the roadblocks never happened, now he is sitting here saying, yeah, there were roadblocks, but it's because of the downed power lines. There were roadblocks, yeah, we admit it, but it's because we were trying to protect people. You know, we were trying to protect people. It's not our faults these people died. It's not our faults that we blocked them from escaping. But the crazy part is, it's not like we're living in the Stone Age. This dude is on video. The police chief is on video telling different stories to different media outlets, changing his story every single day. We got you on video saying that there were no roadblocks. Now we got you on video saying, yeah, hey, there are roadblocks. What's it going to be? Why is this story changing so much? But before I go on too much of a rant, let's go ahead and watch this clip really quick, and then I'll be right back with more thoughts.
Maui Police Chief confirms to HNN that there were barricades set up in Lahaina to keep people away from downed power lines. The information is being spotlighted in international press, but the chief is pushing back against criticism, telling HNN it's too premature to second-guess those decisions. This drone video shows rows of charred cars jamming both lanes of Front Street in historic Lahaina town, a scene that portrays the chaos on August 8th as people tried to flee the town as flames engulfed the area.
I was trying to turn right out of my neighborhood, which it would have taken me to Front Street, but nothing was moving.
Nearly 3 weeks since the deadly wildfire, some information has emerged that wasn't initially highlighted. The Associated Press writing an article with the headline, "Many had no warning and no way out. Those who dodged a barricade survived." The AP reports that car after car was turned back to the rapidly spreading wildfire by a barricade blocking access to the highway to get out of Lahaina town. This week, Maui's police chief explaining why barricades were set up.
Down power lines. which would kill you if you go over it, or it's a fire that's engulfed the area. So there was a point when we didn't let traffic into Front Street because Front Street was on fire. But we did not impede people from exiting the area.
It comes as Maui County is suing HECO for allegedly causing the fires by not shutting off power ahead of time due to high winds and dry brush. In an exclusive interview with the U.S. Fire Administration, the head of the agency tells HNN she believes once the West Maui fire started, under the conditions that day, there was no way of stopping it.
The wind speeds coming from the nearby hurricane caused the air and the fire to move very fast.
Do you think, given how fast moving this was, that this could have been stopped with enough firefighters?
Not with the number of firefighters that you had available on this island, and were outpaced from the very beginning.
So you believe even if they had all the firefighters on the island in front of Lahaina, it still would have got through?
They did have everything that was in the stations on that day on the island that was dispatched to this fire, and they were outpaced.
Eddie Dowd, Hawaii News Now.
I mean, do they think that people aren't capable of following along with these news stories? Do they think that we just forget what we saw on the news a couple of days prior? Like, if you've been watching my videos, and I know a lot of you have been, we've seen this guy tell different stories in the clips that I've played. We literally watched this dude deny that there were roadblocks, and now the story changes. But you see, the fact that he was not honest from the beginning is what really makes me think that there's something more to this. That this was not just a mistake, that this was something more, because why not be transparent from the beginning? If you are afraid of people, dying from the downed power lines, and that's why you blocked people from evacuating, then why didn't you say that from day one? Why are you just now admitting that there were roadblocks on day 21? It's been 3 weeks, people. 3 weeks. And now he changes the story again. But how can we trust him? How can we trust anything that is being said when it feels as if y'all tried to play the long game? You wanted people to go away and not worry about it. But once people kept, pressing y'all, once people kept applying the pressure, then you had to cave in and admit it. But the fact that you did not admit it from day one makes me think that there's a reason behind why you wouldn't admit it. So they tried to get away with claiming that there were no roadblocks. That's what they wanted to get away with. But with all of the videos coming out, with all of the testimony coming out, they eventually had to tell the truth. But this should show you that there's something going on here. Because if they were just, if it was just a normal catastrophe and everyone was doing their jobs and everyone was doing what they were supposed to do and there's nothing shady going on, then they could have been transparent from the beginning. But they weren't. But even in the clip we just watched, he lied again. He's acting as if these roadblocks were stopping people from going into areas where the flames were, when in fact it was the exact opposite. The people knew where the flames were. They were trying to drive away from the fire. Y'all redirected them towards the fire. There's video evidence of it. Everyone is saying the same thing. Why would we believe the police chief now when he's on video lying about the roadblocks in the first place? He's been lying for weeks now. And it's not like this is some type of wild conspiracy that would be hard to prove. No, just go look at old clips. Look at a couple of my old videos, and you will see the police chief telling a whole different story. A whole different story. So yeah, the roadblocks, that's something that I will never be able to forget. I will never forget what happened in Lahaina, especially because of the roadblocks, the water being cut off. This is a big moment in our history, and I don't think people realize it. Sure, it's one of the biggest fires we've ever had. But when I say it's a big moment in our history, I think it's a big moment that maybe people don't realize now, but I think eventually one day we'll look back on this situation and realize that this was one of those big defining moments when people started to realize that, you know, the powers that be, our government, our officials don't really have our best interest in mind. In fact, the exact opposite. And I think we're seeing how far these people are willing to go. You know, they'll go so far as to block you from escaping and directing you into flames so you can burn to death. That's the reality, folks. And there's officers, there's military personnel that will enforce these wild rules without asking any questions. Just like what happened in Lahaina. Any officer in their right mind knew that that didn't make any sense. Y'all rode down the same exact road that you said was unsafe to drive down. Make it make sense. But let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. While you're down there, hit the thumbs up, hit that subscribe. I'm letting you know right now, I'm not in the direct path of the storm, but who knows what's going to happen. I'm expecting to lose power. You know, I'm hoping that we don't have a catastrophe of our own down here. You know, so the next couple of days are going to be questionable. I'm going to try to pump out as much content as I can. But if the power goes out, then there's no content being made. So just keep that in mind. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Hit the thumbs up, hit the subscribe, and I'll talk to you all very soon in the next video.